And welcome to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism. I'm your host, Matt Clark, the Gray Skeptic, and I'm here with Christy Santiago. Say hi.
Hi.
And Neil, the 604 Extraordinary Atheist.
Extraordinary. Wait a minute, that's not in my title.
Well, for tonight, you are our first featured Extraordinary Atheist of this new series.
Honored.
Well, you should be, because this is an exclusive club. That being said, instead of just putting you straight on the spot, I'll explain to everyone why you are here. From what I know, you have this this strange fetish of just giving blood all the time to everyone
Fetish.
around you.
I just, I let it fly out. Here, you need some? Here, I got some.
Catch! Open your mouth!
Yeah.
Even
That's
makes
weird.
it
Oh, I'm
rain.
sorry.
Especially
Ruined everything already.
Yeah, he makes it rain blood.
Make it rain. Thank you, Christy.
It's my superpower.
Yeah.
I'm a blood man.
So no, if for those of you who don't know, Neil here, he donates a lot of blood. Like his father before him, from what I know. And so we're going to go through and kind of interview Neil on his strange habit and what really makes him an extraordinary person, an extraordinary atheist, an extraordinary humanist, just an extraordinary person, as far as I have come to understand it. So we want to share that with you. So, Neil, if you could start off just by telling us, give us a brief of what you do currently, and then we'll go back to why and when everything started.
What I do currently, you mean like in regards to the blood donations?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Well, currently I am on, I think I just hit donation number 44 or 5. I can't remember exactly. But you can only donate here in Canada every 2 months or so. 56 days is actually what they say. So that's, if I was able to do platelets, I'd be able to go in every couple of weeks. And of course, my numbers would probably be 3 times as much as they are now. So unfortunately, I applied to do that, and then they tested the blood, and I don't have enough something or other that's in there to be able to do that. I just don't remember what they said off the top of my head, which is a factor of getting old. But do you want me to actually tell you how it all started, or?
Yes, please. Absolutely.
Okay, well, we got to go back to 2012 is when I first started, and my dad was British Columbia's highest donor at the time. His totals before he passed away, or before he had to stop donating because he was diagnosed with cancer of the bladder, like bladder cancer. So he had to stop donating. As soon as you get diagnosed with cancer, you
sorry about that. I think we had a couple technical difficulties. In case you see this part, we're just going to start back where Neil was talking, where everything kind of started for him back in 2012. So, Neil, if you would like to pick up there, we'd love to hear it.
Sure. So this whole thing started in 2012, which is after when my dad was BC's highest donor, BC being British Columbia, up until he was diagnosed with cancer, which they basically forced him to stop because that's what they do if you're diagnosed with something like that. So he had hit 532 donations at that point. So that's pretty good. So he started back in college, actually on a dare. His college buddies and him, they decided to go just on a whim, and he was kind of hooked ever since. Then he became a platelets donor, which I turned out I couldn't do after they tested my blood. Otherwise, my donation count would be much higher. So that's when his numbers started piling up. Anyway, so after Dad passed away, I thought, well, geez, with him gone, there's a pretty big gap there because he donated so often and encouraged other people to donate as well. So I figured what I would do is start up what we call here in Canada a Partners for Life group in his honor. So it was the Frank Bernstein in honor of Partners for Life group. And the Canadian Blood Services thought that was a great idea. So we got together for a meeting, and they said, well, the way we basically do this is we'll start it up in honor of your dad, and you can be the champion of the group. But we need a pledge, like a number of donations you feel you can hit in the first year. And I said, well, I think we can probably break my dad's numbers. And they kind of looked at each other like, that's never happened in Canadian history. So you might want to go for something like a single person started donor group usually gets around 50 to 60 donations a year, because it's usually them and a bunch and some friends or something. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, you can write that in your little book there, your little notepad. You can do whatever you want there. But I'm telling you right now, we're going to break that number. And they're kind of like looking at each other like with these looks of surprise, like really. So a year passes after this whole thing goes down, and the group that I managed. Before I get to that point, I should say that I asked them if we could have Global News, which is one of the local news companies here, come in and film my first donation and talk about the group and maybe inspire people to get out there and donate. So Global News came in. There was I think 6 or 7 different news sources that came in, and I was on camera, a bunch of different cameras, and some interviews in newspapers and stuff. And in the first year after that broadcasting, I managed to get just under 200 people into the group that joined my Partners for Life group, and we did 681 donations in the first year, which basically blew my original pledge of 50 out of the water by 1,240%. So once again, I got on the news again. They all the same people came back and had an interview with me about this, what they called an incredible achievement, because it had never been done in Canadian history before. So they presented me with a big cake, beat your pledge by 1,240%, it said on there. So that was pretty funny. And and I have footage of that actually on another one of my YouTube channels that a friend of mine did the filming for me, which was pretty neat. And so to this day, the group that I put together, and every time I go to donate, by the way, I always manage to recruit at least 1 or 2 more people just by telling them this story. So to this day, we still garner an average of about 450 to 500 every year. Wow. So, because a lot of people jump in on the hype of it, and they don't donate as often or whatever, which is why I try and recruit more people. And I've been able to do it a few times on Twitter, just talking about it. People, I live in Canada, I'm going to join your group. So I've got members now across Canada, and my goal is to become Canada's largest single-person started blood donor group eventually.
Love it.
Working on it. I haven't even checked to see if that's the case yet, but who knows?
What was your dad's previous record?
Well, he was at 532 donations before he passed away. Yeah. Wow. Now, I'm happy to say that people have broken that record. There was a guy locally who's done over 700 now, and there's one Canadian gentleman who broke 1,000 donations. Like, that's insane. Of course, you can get those numbers if you're a platelet donor. So, because what they do in platelets takes about an hour to do the process. They hook you up and they pull your blood out, and whatever the machine they run it through separates the platelets and puts the rest of your red blood cells and stuff back into your body. So that's why your body generates platelets faster than all the other elements of your blood. So they can take it out a lot sooner. So you can go in every 2 to 3 weeks if you want to donate platelets.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have a few platelet donors in my group, actually. So that's what also helps the numbers grow for the group. And we've just joined forces with Canadian Atheists. So my friend Randolph, which you guys know, has decided to bring his little donor group in with mine. So we've joined forces with Canadian Atheists. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
So cool.
So who knows what kind of numbers we're going to get this year.
Yeah, and what's his name? Who did you say you joined forces with?
Randolph Richardson.
Randolph Richardson.
Yeah.
I think he's in our League of Extraordinary Atheists.
I think probably. I told him to get his ass in there. So. Well, he's in the Neil's Usual Suspects group.
Yes.
And
awesome.
he's a chatty guy, so.
Yeah.
He's also the guy that
I've seen him at one place or the other. That's awesome. Well, good for you both. That's really cool.
He's a great guy. He donates as well, so we just can't seem to coordinate our schedules where we can go in and do it together, because that's kind of what we wanted to do. But he can't do it the days that I do it, and I'm refusing to move from the days that I do it, because the days I go in are the same days that my dad used to donate. So I'm literally filling his spot, so to speak, right? Yeah. Also, Randolph and I are starting our own call-in show, very much like Talk Heathen and Atheist Experience too, by the way.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're gonna use the old good cop, bad cop. Of course, who do you think I'm gonna be?
Oh, the big old sweetie cop.
Yeah, no. That's just for you guys that know me.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Everyone else looks at me and they think that he's either a biker or a pirate. So
definitely a pirate, of course.
I tell everyone I'm a biker pirate.
I like it.
I'll put a little Union Jack, or not a Union Jack, what do you call it? Jolly Roger on the back of my three-wheeler.
Three-wheelers are cool.
Oh yeah, the tricycle.
Very cool. Yeah. Oh, pedals.
Still a bike.
Pedals.
Right?
I mean, it is a bike.
I
Although the word bike, bike is short for bicycle, so
True.
It's a trike.
Trike. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Okay, we'll go with that.
Cycle.
I did want to know, did your dad ever tell you why he chose to do this? What was his reasoning?
They were dared.
That was it.
His first experience, he was like, his college buddies are going, and they all knew he was deathly afraid of needles.
Okay.
So they're like, come on, Frank, we dare you. We dare you. Come with us. You could do this, buddy. And he went in, and he said, literally, he was hooked from the first experience. So
That's
he
awesome.
continued to do it from that day, right? He said the only thing he was upset about when they called him to go donate, the only thing he was upset about was that they had interrupted his watching the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show while he was in his college dorm. So, which I thought was pretty funny. He watched that cartoons till the day he died. Man, that's kind of where I get that.
Wow.
I know, what a story. I've seen the photos of you pointing to your dad on the wall inside the donation center or whatever it is called. Right. I just love this story. You'll never know how many people you've helped. Hundreds of people. You'll never know if you actually saved people, which I'm sure you have. It's such a selfless gift. Oh, you do know.
That's not entirely true. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Message from Canadian Blood Services. Your donation is on its way. Because of donors like you, someone is waking up healthier tomorrow. I keep getting tweet or messages from them on my phone every time I donate. My blood goes out to save someone or help someone. Yeah.
I love it.
I actually suggested that they start doing that. I had a little meeting with one of my handlers there.
Right.
I said, listen, I know a few countries in Europe that do this, like in England and Denmark and stuff, where they text the donors every time their donations leave. And you guys could easily do it because you scan them with the computer, right? You scan every donation. So that would register, this donation was by such and such. We should text them, let them know that their blood is on the way to save the life of a child or whatever. Oh, that's something else I should probably mention. I'm also a musician, and I have another company right now that's in a hiatus until I get some more funding going for it. But it's called Lifeblood Entertainment. And what we do is we put on shows of local talent and have a more well-known headliner. and a couple of bands that I've grown to like are the other person. Well, she's no longer working with me; she's moved. So the people that we had tended to like to show off or showcase them and showcase their talent, and in between sets, we would have the Canadian Blood Services people at our shows, and you could fill out forms to join the group. So basically, it was to promote blood donations through music, because music is something that everyone can, get together on. Like, everyone loves music. So we decided to start doing that, right? And in the future, once we get it going a little bit better, or I keep saying we because it was a joint effort, but it's now just me running it. I'm thinking I might start a GoFundMe for that, so that I can actually start raising some money to get this going again. Because it's not cheap, and I'm registered as a nonprofit for it, so I would need help with that. So, but I want to get video screens so we could run the little Canadian blood donor stories where they show on TV in between the bands, so you can hear the stories of the little girl in the cancer ward that got a donation and her life was saved, or that sort of thing, right? Where they show it to hopefully encourage people to do that. So that's coming also down the road too. So look, I actually, Blood Entertainment is on Facebook, but I haven't posted anything in there in quite some time because of the issues we were going through. I had to come up with $10,000 to buy out my partner, which I did, but now it's costing me to pay it all back, of course, but to the bank. But but I'm sole owner of Lifeblood now, and so.
Blood Entertainment.
I want to maybe grab a new partner that lives in the other side of Canada, that we can run these shows right across Canada and encourage people right across Canada. That, of course, is a lofty goal, but hopefully at some point I'll be able to do that. I
believe in
That's
you.
Really awesome.
Yeah. I think that it's such a great story, Neil. You are an extraordinary human and an extraordinary atheist. And I'm so glad that you shared your story with everybody, especially me. I'm the one that matters because I love the story.
I almost donated a kidney too, if that matters.
You did? Seriously?
Yeah. It's a short story, so I'll tell you that one really quick. My friend Phil, who both his kidneys have pretty much failed, he has to be plugged into dialysis every single night when he goes to bed. And he called me up. He says, "Listen, man, I notice you have a fairly large social media presence. So would you do me a favor and maybe put out the word or feelers that I need a donor?" And I said, "Well, you know what, Phil? I've known you for 5-6 years now. We've become pretty good friends. How about I give it a shot first before I even do that?" And he's like, "What? Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you're my friend. You've got a family. You've got 4 kids. Your mom lives with you. What would they do without you, dude? Like, I'm like a nobody, really. I'll step. I'll see if I can donate for you." And apparently, I was a match. Blood type, everything was a go up until the very last test, where they go in through the old hoo-hoo hole there and go right up there and check everything out. And apparently, I have a little tiny stone in the left one and a tiny cyst in the other one, which is benign, by the way. So they said they were afraid that because they prefer the right, so they were afraid that if they went in, that they might stir up something and it could become a problem, and then I'd end up needing one. So they decided, the surgeon board ruled me out. So I eventually got a couple of my friends to test, and they were doing pretty good, but things got a little critical, and he needed something right away, and they actually had one from a cadaver for him, which he ended up getting. Get this, on his birthday. He ended up getting a new kid. Story. Yeah.
Wow.
But his family,
such a big baby.
His family still considers me part of the family too because of what I did. So I'm always, right?
That's really sweet.
Yeah. So
that's extraordinary, is what it is. You're a very selfless, beautiful human, and I would smooch your whole face right now if we lived close enough, and then tell you stop making me cry.
Sorry. It's not the intent. It's important. I think it's important, especially us being one of the most hated demographics in North America and Europe, even, or across the globe, really. were the least trusted and most, and it's stories like these that if they get out there, and that's why I don't mind telling these stories, then people might change their minds about who we are.
I think so.
We're decent human beings. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of the point of this group. It's not just to change what people, like how people look at us, but give atheists a chance who want that to change. Like, if you want to be a humanist, if you want to help give to charity or like just help the human condition, this group is for you. And we focus a lot on politics, but I do want to focus on a lot of like charitable work and fundraisers and stuff. Yeah. So if you do start a GoFundMe for your,
I also work with the Ronald McDonald House too. So.
Oh yes.
Any fundraising we do, money goes to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you do start a GoFundMe for your lifeblood, Mac was just saying we will put it in the description. We'll also share it on LEAH.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. On the Facebook group, and we'll shout it out during the show. We definitely want to help people who want to help others, especially.
I think
helping others for the sake of helping others is
I don't expect
the most
anything.
Beautiful thing.
The only thing actually I do expect. I expect people to want to donate blood. That's what I expect, and that's why I'm putting these shows on, right?
Right. Okay, that was my next question. How do you, if people were watching this and they'd never done it before, what would you tell them to do if they were interested?
Christy, make sure you're in frame a little bit more too, just so you know. Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, doesn't that medicine ball thingy you sit on roll?
Yeah.
Or the flexi. I used to have the one with the horns so you could bounce around the room as a kid, right?
Oh, those are so much fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Until you were able to pick it up and start hammering your friends with it.
Oh, yes.
But if you live in Canada, you can go to any Canadian Blood Services outlet and sign up to become a donor. And if you live in the U.S., you go through the Red Cross.
Yep.
And you can jump in there, and I believe in some states they'll even pay you to donate.
Yep.
But not in Canada. Canada, it's strictly volunteer. But you could. I literally, when I finish donating blood, I go down. They have all the snacks and stuff there, and the girls that run the snack area, dude, like fill your bag with that shit, right? So I'm like throwing Oreos in there and bits and bites in there, and the dad's cookies and the chocolate. I'm loading up. I'm like, look what I'm having for lunch tomorrow. Right? They're all laughing. They think it's great. It's weird because when I go in there now, it's like, you remember when Norm would walk into Cheers and everyone would go, Norm! That's kind of what it's like. I walk in, they go, Neil! The celebrities here.
You want to go where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, and they do there.
I love it.
And I know all their names too.
Story.
There's always hugs.
I bet you too.
Yeah.
I bet you too. I bet you've created such a positive experience for yourself, for them, for people you'll never meet. I love you.
My dad had a really interesting story. He was called at 3 a.m. one time and this also plays into the whole religion thing, because my dad was Jewish. I was raised Jewish. He was called at 3 a.m. because somebody needed a direct transfer of blood. They needed blood like right there, and he's O negative, which is a universal blood type. So he got to the hospital. They got him all stripped down and wheeled him in the gurney into the operating room. And it turns out that the guy he was donating to was a Muslim. Right? And Muslims and Jews generally don't get along at all. But my dad and this fella, who really didn't know much about Jewish people, because I guess he kept to his Muslim community, they ended up becoming the best of friends after that. And he literally hugged and kissed my dad afterwards, because my dad literally went in there and saved his life. He goes, boy, and the one thing that my dad said, something that he said that stuck with him for the rest of his life, was he had no idea that Jews were these kind of people. This is the kind of thing that religion does to people's brains, guys. Yeah. This is what religion does. It is divisive by nature. It's us versus them. And my dad shattered that image when he went in there to do that. He literally saved his life, so they became buddies after that.
I love it.
That's brilliant. I love that. Thanks for sharing that part of it.
Too. Yeah, especially.
I thought it was a little apropos considering that we're atheists and we like to trash on religion. I thought I'd bring that story up. So
life lessons with Uncle Neil.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Gather round, kids. Grab your s'mores. I've got some stories for you. Let me pour some scotch first. I can only handle you children when I'm drunk, so...
Pull your pants up really high.
Yeah, up to like here. Let me get my wallet.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm just glad.
I'm
almost glad I never had kids, and then they had kids, because I'd be one of those dads or grandpas that has the wallet with the picture fold out that falls down to the floor.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, like my mom does that on the bus.
Being a grandpa, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't have any kids that I'm aware of anyway, so I don't know. No one's come knocking on my door. So I don't know.
See, now, that would be way, 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 way funnier if this whole conversation was just about you sperm donating.
Sperm donating?
I don't have any kids.
We won't get into that. I don't know if it counts as donating.
Wow. I do know, because you had mentioned that they do pay for blood. I see advertisements here for plasma anywhere between $50 and $350, just depending on where you're going and what kind of blood you have.
Yeah.
But I know that
is one that they really, really want.
That's the one they really, really want, right? I do know that they will turn people away if they're, if they take their blood pressure and it's too high, and won't let them come back, like, ever.
Really? They don't even say, come back if you can bring it down, or?
No, a friend of ours does it often as well, and he is not allowed to go back into 2 that are local because his blood pressure was too high.
Wow.
And so he just went to another one, and instead of parking far and walking all the way up there in the heat, he parked close and walked a little bit, and his blood pressure was fine.
Right.
Right.
My blood pressure seems to be pretty much spot on every time I go in there. So, and they asked my doctor, actually, it was a little funny. He goes, "How long have you been smoking?" I go, I don't know, like 300 and something years, I think, something like that. He goes, "I can't believe that. I don't believe you." I'm like, "Yeah, doc, I've been probably smoking since with a year quitting here and there, since I was 13. And he goes, he goes, "Your lungs don't sound like you've been doing it for that long. Your blood pressure's fine. It's a smidge high, but nothing in the realm where I'd be going, shit, we got to get you on medication." Right. He goes, the only issue I have is your bad cholesterol should come down a little, right? Your good cholesterol is great, but your bad cholesterol should come down. And I'm like, does that mean I have to give up Whoppers? He's like, you don't have to give them up, but I wouldn't eat 7 of them in a month.
Oh.
What about one sitting?
I'll just trade those for Big Macs, and
I'll just switch over to filet of fish. Much better. Fish is better for you, isn't it?
Ew.
I stopped at 6 Whoppers, and I ate 7 of the Big Macs.
Yeah, that's great.
It's called moderation.
I still go for my Whopper Wednesday once a month. He said that's fine. You can have a couple of Whoppers a month. That's fine. And I eat my Timmy Hortons breakfast bagels on the weekends, and he's like, no big deal. Just but that's what it is. It's the only fast food I really do.
I don't know if a lot of people know what Tim Hortons is. I have one where I'm at because I'm in Ohio. I'm close to Canada.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah. Timmy, we're creeping in there.
Yeah. That's like my dad's favorite coffee place to go to.
They make great coffee.
Timmy
Oh,
Ho's.
yeah, it's a coffee donuts. Timmy Ho's, yeah.
Yum.
Oh,
Close
yeah.
to me, there's a Krispy Kreme, like
That Krispy Kreme's good.
right down the road, and they always have that fresh, hot sign.
Oh my
come
God,
on,
they're so good.
Once an hour.
I'm like, just shovel them in, man. Just one after the other. I'll eat them
They're
whole.
so
I don't care.
good.
I know.
Yes, they're so good.
LEAH subscribers, but I hate coffee, but I do love donuts. I love donuts more than most people love coffee.
We can't be friends anymore, Mac.
Blasphemy.
Well, I'm just gonna go. I'm sorry. I even.
Get your ass
I
back
knew
to
that there was
anti-coffee
something.
devil,
Yeah, I knew it. There was something a little iffy.
One thing people usually hate about Mac is his disdain for coffee.
Okay, do you like beer?
I love it.
Yeah. Well, we should probably wrap this up for the night.
Yeah. Do you like beer, Mac?
Yeah, Mac. Do you like beer?
No, I hate beer, but I love rum and liquor.
There you go. Okay.
I love liquor.
Yeah.
Okay, there. I got some scotch, so we're good.
Yeah.
I'm like the guy that has everything within reach if I want to use it.
Yeah. I usually have a full glass, but I'm leaving right for work right after this. Again, as always. I want to mix that our favorite producer, Nacha, doesn't have any questions for you before we close out.
Mr. Nacha.
Nacha.
Hello. Yeah, no, I'm
Hello.
The voice from the background.
Yes.
The voice.
All the way from Upside Down World.
Yeah.
Not your Oz.
Not your Oz.
No, all good. I've enjoyed the show though.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah. Neil is enjoyable.
I'm glad you guys decided to have me on. This was a lot of fun. And I like telling the story because I hope it encourages people to do something similar.
I hope so too. And if you have any links to those, we can put Red Cross, and those are pretty basic.
All you got to do is you Google Canadian Blood Services, Google Red Cross, and they'll provide you with the links right there. You pop them in there. And people, even if you're afraid of needles, I've convinced 3 to 4 people that I personally know that did have a fear of needles to come and join me. And they did, and they got over their fear of needles right away because it is absolutely not the same as when you get a shot. It's a completely different. It's like a pinch rather than a sting feeling, and you only feel it for a brief second, and then the next thing you know, you're going, "Oh, okay, well, that's no big deal." But your first time, and you save lives, which is huge. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah.
But your first time, you'll feel a little weird and nummy, so it's kind of weird. Weird tingly feeling goes through your arm the first time. You're like, whoa, trippy.
They're taking my human fluids.
Yeah, my lubrication.
I donate with my dad about once a year. He has a health and safety festival at his work each year, and they usually have a blood donation van. So him and I usually go in April. We donate together. It's fun, and we always try to see who's gonna donate faster. So
that's what I do.
We try to raise. It's fun.
So
I recently broke my record. I got under 5 minutes. I was like, yeah.
Wow.
I got to start
pumping it out.
I'm like, come on, let's go, come on. I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, come on, shit, I'm not gonna make it. Oh, you're done. Oh yeah, I beat it by 3 seconds or something.
Give me my Oreos and juice.
You just give me an open bag. Completely sanitary. Completely. All right. This
it was fun.
Extraordinary. Thank you, Neil, for coming on. Thank you, Nacha and Christy, for being here tonight and doing this. And thanks just for everyone making time in your schedule to come on and participate in LEAH, the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism. Not subscribed, please do so. It really helps us out. Please comment down below. We'd love to hear what you guys think of the show. Find us on Facebook. Nacha, do you have those ads, those links?
I'm pretty sure they're all at Atheism Humanism, and you can see that at the top of the screen, which is awesome.
Yay!
That's sick. So thank you. making that simple for everyone. So again, thank you everyone for showing up tonight. Neil, can you tell us the link to your channel real quick and any last words?
Yeah. If you're into listening to deconversion stories, that's what I'm currently doing on my channel, talking to people about their pathways away from their beliefs. And you can just look me up as Neil the 604 Atheist.
Awesome.
And if you're wondering what the hell 604 means, it's actually the area code for where I live. Thank you.
I'll find you.
Easy.
Anyway, and Chris,
let's hunt him down. We need his blood.
Me. That's me. Wonder Lady is every Thursday. I'm sure most people know. If you don't know, Wonder Lady is 2 words. You find her on YouTube every Thursday night at 7:30. I do a series right now called This Is Our America. I've been going through the 20th century. It's been a lot of fun and a lot of turmoil. I'm enjoying myself. And then, of course, right here with Leah and Mac. And we do our humanist things, trying to emulate our upside down friend when he does Nacho Witnessy things.
Nacho Witnessy.
Yeah. And then Nacho real quick.
Doesn't all your blood rush to the top of your head there, buddy? When you get down there in Australia?
Yeah, but you get used to it, like, because you're born upside down, you live your whole life upside down.
I love you, man.
I love you too, brother. Look, everyone knows me. I'm not Joe Witness, and I do not Joe Witnessy things. I just stumbled on my own thing. But, yeah, I don't know. Go check me out. People know me.
Nah.
People know me.
Absolutely check Nacho Witness out. You should absolutely check all of these great content creators out. Check out what they do. If you like me at all, so you should subscribe to my channel, Gray Skeptic, and at Gray Skeptic Mac. Thank you all for joining in tonight. I hope everyone enjoyed the episode, and we love you all. You all have a wonderful night and weekend. We'll see you next Friday.
Bye, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bye.